More people are living in sub-Saharan Africa than any other time in the history of the region. It is estimated that the region will more than double her population by the year 2060 to around 2.7 billion people. The same year, there will be about 10 billion people in the world, of which 5.2 billion would be in Asia, 1.3 billion in the Americas, 700 million in Europe, and 100 million people in the rest of the world. But this population growth is expected to be a blessing or a curse, depending on how it is handled. This week, the International Monetary Fund released the Regional Economic Outlook, which says economic growth in sub-Saharan Africa is likely to weaken to her lowest levels in the last 20 years.
What has held back growth in the past is the fact that the business environment, macroeconomic settings have been inimical to convergence growth. And more recently, in the last 10-15 years, what we've seen is a lot of improvement in these dimensions, creating a favorable condition for investment. So those frameworks remain in place, but some countries have been hit by a shock, as I mentioned, and what's required is a response to adjust to this shock, and I'm sure growth will recover thereafter.
The report further says sub-Saharan Africa's share of the global labor force is projected to increase from 10% in 2010 to 37% by the year 2100. By the year 2035, the number of sub-Saharan Africans in working age of between 15 to 64 will exceed that of the rest of the world combined.
The key to containing the debt at its current level or about its current level is going to be getting this deficit down, and the fact that you still have robust growth and this plan to bring debt down is exactly the kind of fiscal path that we would like to see in countries in the region where growth is high and fiscal deficits have widened.
The report further says failure to manage this population growth will result into serious social and economic problems for the region. To maximize the dividend, sub-Saharan Africa will have to create high productivity jobs at an average of about 18 million jobs per year until the year 2035. The region will also require policies to be put in place that encourage a gradual transition from the informal sector, which currently accounts for about 90% of the 400 million jobs in low-income countries, to non-agricultural formal sector employment. The report calls on countries to relook at their fiscal policies with the aim of lowering their budget deficit by expanding their tax base.